you're a first year computer science student wondering how the hell you're supposed to survive, I've been there and I've got the answers. Welcome to the channel. I am Sobo Daurima Songanyi, a second year computer science and information systems student at Nelson Mandela University. In this series, I'll be documenting my journey in tech from the grind to the glow up, hopefully. Today, I'm answering real questions from first year CS students from Nelson Mandela University who are just starting out, trying to find their feet. Whether you're confused, curious, or just overwhelmed, even if you are from another university, this one is for you. So what I've done is I asked some of you guys to send me some of the questions that you have regarding, your second semester and even your second year. I will try to answer those questions in this video. A quick side note, I'll be referring a lot to this career and study fields guide from Nelson Mandela University. I'll also leave it in the description down below so that you can go check out whatever I'll be talking about. Let's get to the questions. Right, so the first question asked by a first year student from NMU is, which language are we using next semester? So you can still expect to use C#. In your first semester, you were using C# to learn things like data types, loops, arrays, and methods. You can expect to continue with C# in your next semester. I wanted to ask if one is allowed to register for second year if they failed one module and it was compulsory to do like Math 101, or they have to do it the whole year before going to second year. Okay, honestly, I don't understand what this question is saying, but I'll just try to assume what you were trying to ask and then answer accordingly. So I wanted to ask if one is allowed to register for second year module if they failed one module. Okay, to register for second year, you need to pass some prerequisite modules. So let's visit our friend. So the career and study fields guide, we're going to search computer science. So I search computer science here and then it shows this computer scientist page. For the sake of this video, I'll be using both Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Commerce to answer some of these questions. So for now, let's just use the BCom one. Right, so this is your first year syllabus, right? The question was, are you allowed to do second year if you failed one module? So second year has prerequisites. So if you read here, it says pre or core requisite module. So in order to do Med B, you need to pass MATS 101. This is first year stuff. And then for programming, let's look at for BCom side. For programming, you need to pass the first semester programming, which is data structures and algorithms. You need to pass MATS 101, V102, and V102. So this is your computing fundamentals, and then this is your programming fundamentals, and then that is your Maths 101, and that is for programming. And then also for computer architecture, you also need to pass your Maths, your programming, your computing fundamentals, and also your Maths 2, Maths second semester rather. So now let's try to go to the BSc part and see what they require that side. Right, so we're in the BSc page. Let's see the modules. Right, so you have your Maths, your applied Maths, your computer science modules, and physics and stats. Go to second year, let's see. So first semester programming, that's data structures. You need to have your Maths, your programming, and your computer fundamentals 101. And for computer architecture, first semester, you need to have your programming. Second semester, and you have to have your Maths and also your computing fundamentals. So information systems, that's where you only need programming, computing fundamentals 1 and 2. But most of your modules in the BSc part, you need to pass your Maths, because you cannot do your applied Maths. That's if you want to continue with applied Maths if you didn't pass Maths 1 or 2. That's your first year Maths. Also the Maths group, you cannot do any Maths here without passing all your Maths. And then also for this is physics, you also need to pass physics 1 or 2 and all the Maths. You just need to pass all the Maths basically. And also for stats, you cannot do stats without passing the stats for first year, and also the Maths. The BSc part, your Maths is really compulsory, even in your third year, I think. Let me see, that's year 2 and this is year 3. So you see, even in year 3, advanced data structures, you need your first year Maths to do advanced data structures. And formal languages and automata, I don't know how to pronounce that, you need your second your first year maths. If you don't pass your maths in the BSc part, you just know that you are in trouble. You need to pull your socks up. Now let's move on. I think I answered the entire question. Let me see. And it was compulsory to do math. So it is compulsory to do math 101, and I have to do it the whole year before going to second year. If you didn't pass your maths, that adds a year to your program, to your degree program. That means you have to do maths first. You would have to do maths and maybe some other modules like information systems that don't require maths, and maybe if you choose to do web systems and some other modules. In the BCom side, you can do a lot more, without passing maths, but in the BSc part, you have to pass your maths so that you can continue with other things like applied maths, physics, stats, and the maths. Next question I wanted to ask, what will happen if you fail math? I feel like I've answered this one, because if you fail math, you can't do applied maths, you can't do physics, you can't do stats, you can't do programming. Yeah, it feels like I always forget that you can't do programming if you fail your math, so you can't continue with programming. So yeah, I've answered this already. And then, which semester did you find difficult in your first year, especially in programming? Let me just say, I felt like first semester was the hardest one in my opinion, and due to the marks that I received in both semesters. So my mark in first semester was lower than the one in second semester. So I would say first semester was a bit harder. What is your favorite language and why is it your favorite? Secondly, which language do you hate? This is really a tricky question, because if you are a programmer or if you love programming, you would know that there isn't a favorite language or a bad language. It just depends on what you are trying to do. Like, if you want to build something that requires you to use Python, and then you would have to use Python. And if it requires you to use C# or Java, then you would have to use those languages. But if I were to choose my favorite language, I would say I have two languages that I consider best languages so far. And I'm talking about languages that I know. And if you are saying language, I'm just going to answer this question in two ways. I'm going to answer like as in language and then programming language, because those two are different. So far I know these languages. I would say that I like two of them interchangeably. So I like Python and C#. My worst language to the languages that I know, I would say C. I would say C is like my worst language. It's one of those languages that if you ask me to build something now, and you say I must choose between Python, C#, Java, C, JavaScript, I would choose anything else but C. Doesn't mean that C is not useful. It is useful, but I wouldn't want to do anything with it unless it is necessary and compulsory. And then the second worst language would be Java. I mean, some of you might say, okay, Java is similar to C#, but no, it is similar, but there are some quirks that I don't like. I'm not really going to go deep into that. My best language is C#, Python, and if I were to choose between C# and Python, it would depend on the project. If the project is very long, I would go with C#. If the project is like easy and doesn't take that long to build, then I would go with Python, because Python also has its disadvantages. I'll release a video on that and tell you why I say Python has its disadvantages. But if the project is long and complicated, definitely C#. And by the way, if you're finding this helpful, you might want to hit the subscribe button and also the like button. By doing so, you are supporting the channel and helping it grow. Now let's move on to the next question. What is the hardest module in second year so far? Data structures and algorithms. Yeah, data structures and algorithms is the hardest so far. I don't want to lie. Data structures and algorithms, everywhere you go, every person who's done computer science before, it doesn't matter what country, what university, they will tell you that data structures and algorithms, that's where people get baptized. So for first day, I used to like sleep early. I'm a person who sleeps early, 10:30. Wake up early and stuff like that. But this year, I have to say that I've been sleeping late because of this one module. So if you look at this, data structures and algorithms, it's only 8 credits, but it's even harder than business, because I'm also doing business, and harder than all other modules that are like 12 credits or maybe the same credit level. You will spend a lot more time debugging code in here. I don't want to lie to you. This will be one of those modules that will give you sleepless nights. You are going to feel the pressure. Like honestly, this one will make you feel what computer science is. Data structures and algorithms. Whatever university you go, if you're doing computer science, if you're majoring in computer science, so to speak, you're definitely going to do data, or you're going to do some sort of data structures and algorithms. I don't want to make this video too long, explaining why DSA is difficult. I'll make another video and, share some of the projects, some of the craziest projects projects that our lecturer made us to do this semester. So just get subscribed and stay tuned. Which topics programming can we expect to learn in second semester? That's first year, and which one is a bit challenging? Right, so programming 102. So what you'll be learning, that's core content. You'll learn text files, which I think will be easy. Like this is easy. You're reading stuff from a text file and then writing stuff to a text file. I think it will take like a week or two in this. And then classes and objects, this will be the core thing that you will be doing this semester. And like everything you do in this semester will revolve around classes and objects. I feel like even in second year, like you will be doing classes and objects. It's just that you will have more things, but classes and objects are like very important in this, but I wouldn't say they are hard. So I would say that just make sure you try to get them as soon as they are introduced, because if you get lost in the introduction, then everything will be a disaster. Right, arrays of objects, not that crazy. If you're familiar with arrays from first semester, it's not that crazy. What you're used to is like having arrays of numbers, of strings, of characters. So you're storing numbers inside. But once you learn about classes and objects, then you would have to put objects inside arrays. That's what basically is. If you understand arrays from first semester, this will be easy as well. And then I will skip these three because I want to talk about them last. Graphical user interface, this might be your first topic in second semester, and it's one of the easiest. What you are used to doing is you write code and then you test it in a console, or what is known as a console-based project. But you've been doing the whole first semester, you've been running your code in a console. So the graphical user interface, so now you are writing code for visual stuff, for example buttons, like things that you can see and interact with. So that's where the graphical user interface, for example, a website is a graphical user interface because behind this button there is code behind it, right? So I'm just giving an example. So you're writing code for things that people can see and interact with. So that will be like a week. You learn this in a week, and then you move on to text files. I think it's graphical user interface and then text files, and then you start with classes and objects and then arrays. And then these three, they are a bit challenging because this is where you feel what computer science is, because it's more about algorithmic thinking. Bubble and insertion sort, these are sorting algorithms, and you're searching algorithms. So I feel like the searching part won't be hard because you are familiar with linear searching. So in first semester, your lecturer would have taught you about linear searching things from the start of the list up to the end of the list. And then binary search, you have been introduced to binary search, but you were using a built-in method, but you don't know how to implement it. So you will learn how to implement a binary search, which I think the searching algorithms are not that bad because it's mostly linear search, binary search, and it's just that. Not that crazy, because if you practice these things, they don't change. Bubble sort will always be bubble sort, insertion sort will always be insertion sort. So if you practice it and know when to use it and know what happens when two elements are compared to each other, I feel like we did bubble sort, selection sort, and insertion sort last year. I don't know if they'll also do selection sort this year, but who knows. And then bubble and insertion sort and selection sort, you might also do selection sort. Indexes is last year was our last topic, last 3 weeks, last 2 weeks there. And I would say this one was a bit challenging because everything that you learn, text files, classes and objects, arrays of objects, sorting algorithms, searching algorithms, and not really graphical user interface, but everything that you learn in first semester and also in the text files and all the stuff, that's where everything gets combined in indexes and your code gets larger and larger. So this will be challenging. Just make sure that you don't get left behind when you're doing indexes, because they will break your head a little bit, not that much, but a little bit. So I would say everything else, it's understandable with enough practice, but indexes, you have to be like engaged. You need to understand what is going on behind the scenes and everything. But once you get it, everything is fine. So that's the rest of the questions that you guys sent. If you found this helpful, again, please consider subscribing and liking, and maybe hit the notification button so that you get notified when I release more videos like this. So my plan is to document everything in my computer science journey. In the next videos, I'll also be showing you how I performed in my first year and what are some of the study strategies that I used to perform well in my first year and stuff like that. So I'll be sharing a lot of my journey in this series, so just stay tuned. And then another thing, if you have other questions like these that you feel like I must answer in a video format like this, just leave them in the comments down below. And also I'll also leave a link where you can leave your questions anonymously if you don't want people seeing your comments, so that I can read them and then put them on a video like this. Be sure to like and subscribe, do all those things, they support the channel. Leave a comment and let me know what is your hardest topic in programming so far, and I'll see you in the next video.